Hey, this is Danny B of the Boca Brothers, and welcome back to the Boca Brother YouTube channel. Let's talk TTop cars, shall we? You know, just thinking about it brings back memories that make me smile every time I think about it. Growing up in those years was just an adventure of its own. The wind in my hair, I mean, they were really cool cars to cruise around in style. In fact, I remember my best friend Ted down in Corpus Christi, Texas. He had a 1978 Camaro with T-tops, and we would take off during lunch while in high school and cruise around. And I can still vividly remember the excitement of watching those iconic roofs being unlatched. I love the way those tinted glass panels looked on top of those cars. But let's talk about some of the most interesting examples of T-top cars, making them very cool indeed. You know, you can't talk about T-tops without talking about the Tasco, a prototype designed by Gordon Buick for the American Sports Car Company in 1948. The car and company failed, but the T-top made history. The interesting thing about it was that was the first car that had T-tops on it, said Buick. Buick also went on to say that that's where I invented T-tops. When the company folded, they owed me some money, and I said, well, I want rights to that top. So I went ahead at my own expense and got patents on the T-top. He then sued General Motors for the 1968 Chevy Corvette's new roof design, a T-top, and Buick won. Well, that leads us into the 1968 Chevy Corvette, which was the first T-top production car from an American automaker. In 1968, Chevy described the roof design as two removable roof panels and removable rear window. The next T-top car is by Packard Motor Company. They brought the Predictor to the overcrowded 1956 Denver Auto Show, though technically it sat in the Brown Palace Hotel lobby because there was no more space for it at the show. The Predictor was a concept car and an early adopter of the power retractable T-top design. Inspiration for this car seemed to skew toward airplanes. Next is the Hurst Hatch cars. Yeah, the 1975 Hurst Olds sported a T-top, but it was called Hurst Hatch. The name stemmed from the roof panels not being added on the GM assembly line, but rather implanted at nearby Hurst Performance, later switching to become Fisher roof panels. GM's Buick, Oldsmobile, and Pontiac cars, including the Regal, Cutlass, Grand Prix, and Trans Am began offering the T-tops soon after. Speaking of Trans Am, the Pontiac Trans Am will forever be associated with the movie Smokey and the Bandit. Period. The car arrived in 1976 and the movie in 1977. But that flick made the car a superstar and a sales star. The Hurst Hatch roof first appeared on the Trans Am Y82 Special Edition model. Although the Corvette had the first production T-top, the Trans Am put the T-top on the map. I don't know if you know this or not, but John DeLorean oversaw development of the Firebird Trans Am, but he initially wasn't much of a fan. Imagine the overall T-top success in America if he'd killed the production of the Trans Am. You know, Smokey and the Bandit struck a chord with audiences, particularly the car chases and the benefits of having a proper mustache. But it was also about the Pontiac Trans Am co-star and its T-top. Chevy wanted in on some of that action, and soon after, the T-top came to the Camaro in the 1978 model year. The $625 option was classified as the RPO CC1. The last factory T-top cars were made for the Camaro and Pontiac Firebird, which hung on to the panels until 2002. Camaro production is coming to an end, but the car will remain a part of both automotive and roof history. Next up is the Ford Thunderbird. Ford's first personal automobile was the Thunderbird, and it offered the T-roof convertible. That's what the Blue Oval called the T-top for the 1978 and 1979 model years. The T-Bird made this list precisely because of that brief production time frame. Hey, by the way, thank you so much for supporting the Boca Brothers Classic Car Review YouTube channel. We really do appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. We really would like to hit the 100,000 subscriber mark. Tell your friends and family about the Boca Brothers YouTube channel. Once again, thank you so much from the heart of our bottom. Up next on some of the cool-looking T-tops is the Ford Mustang. When it came to the Mustang, Ford marketed the roof design as the next best thing to a convertible. And the T-roof and flip-up open-air roof give you a way to soak up the warm weather in your Mustang hatchback. The original 1965 Mustang offered a convertible, but in 1977, the factory T-roof was made available. I remember, I believe my brother and I were about 17, close to 18, and while my brother and I and some of our friends were playing football out in the street, this guy that lived down the street was driving around in a brand new 1982 Ford Mustang GT with T-tops. We were so envious because we didn't have a car back then. What we did, it was a 1978 Chevy Impala station wagon, as I discussed before. By the way, the T-top option was offered through the better part of the 1980s, speaking of 80s, even when the convertible Mustang returned in 1983. In 1978, the dealerships offered the Mustang with a substantial sticker price reduction, with the T-roof model ringing in at $4,500. Next on our list of the coolest T-top cars is the Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz. It's got to be one of the coolest caddies. I didn't know about this until I was doing research on the coolest T-tops. There were said to be only 7 to 9 production models with a T-top roof. Well, no wonder I couldn't find that many pictures of this thing. The motorized panels were made by the American Sunroof Company. Story has it that this T-top was originally going to be for a brand new Oldsmobile model. But when that vehicle didn't come to fruition, Cadillac took over the production order and added those few prototype T-tops to some of its Eldorado Biarritz cars. Next is the Dodge Daytona. Chrysler was in love with T-top cars in the 70s and 80s. You know that. The Dodge Aspen. The Plymouth Volare. Yeah, even that had a T-top. The Dodge Diplomat. And the Chrysler LeBaron. All of them offered the T-top option. The front-wheel drive hatchback Dodge Daytona of the mid-1980s may not have shared much with its NASCAR namesake, but at least it had some rockin' T-tops, right? Last on our list of the coolest T-top cars, the Nissan Z cars. Yeah, foreign nameplates joined the Tea Party as well. None more enthusiastically than Datsun Nissan. Datsun debuted T-tops on the 280 ZX in 1980 and kept them for the succeeding Z31 generation 300ZX that arrived for 1984. In both cases, they were available on the 2-seat and the 2+2 body styles. They appeared again on the redesigned Z32 for 1990 as standard equipment that first year. T-tops remained standard on the 300ZX Turbo and available on non-turbo models, all the way until the 300ZX reached the end of the road after 1996. Well, there you have it, some of the coolest looking T-top cars ever. Which was your favorite? Let me know if I left some out. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. We really do appreciate it. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell for future Boca Brother video notifications. This is Danny B of the Boca Brothers. Man, I really enjoyed going down memory lane, reminiscing about the T-top cars. Man, those were the days. Have a good one, and we'll catch you next weekend.